What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Gitm podcast, where we talk about all the things that excite us, piss us off, and all the above in the gaming industry. I'm your host, Nick, with my co-host, Stu. How are we doing today, Stu?
I'm doing well, Nick. I'm really excited about today's episode. We've got some awesome games to talk about, and I think we can cover a lot with our different gaming experiences.
I agree. And I just want to take a second just to thank everybody that's checked out our podcast so far. We've been good reviews from it, and it's been a lot of fun just kind of voicing our opinions and letting you guys know what we think about the games coming up and the games that we play. Um, So, today we will be talking about upcoming November releases such as Death Stranding and Star Wars. But before that, we have some secret news. Horizon Zero Dawn will more than likely have a sequel since Guerrilla Games recently posted 15 job openings, one of which suggests the team is working on a new game. That job was a technical vegetation artist, so basically that guy gets paid hundreds of thousands to make plants. But if you guys have ever played the Horizon Zero Dawn games, the game is beautiful. I mean, it's extremely immersive, and I mean, obviously, the guy that makes the vegetation does a great job. But
Absolutely.
I know that you played the game, didn't you, Stu?
I did not actually. I
Really?
watched a lot of gameplay. Yeah, I don't have a PS4, so I don't have any way to play it. But I know what happens in the game. I've watched complete playthroughs. The game is absolutely stunning, and it's not surprising that they're coming out with the second one, considering how well the
Yeah,
first one did.
exactly. And that kind of goes in with the question: will it be a PS4 release or will it be a launch day of the PS5 coming up? I feel like if they launch it on the PS4, that they're gonna probably piss some people off. I know that all the games probably on PlayStation 5 will be backwards compatible. I can't 100% say, but I would imagine a game that has so much graphic pool would want to get on the latest, newest technology from the PlayStation 5 and utilize everything that they can from that. Um, the game was a lot
My
of fun. I do hope that they don't mess this one up, which sometimes happens in the sequels, as we know. So,
I
uh,
don't know if necessarily. I don't know, man. I don't think they'd mess this one up. I mean, just considering the first one, if they just stick to that same formula, they're gonna kill it.
yeah, the same
Um,
principle because it was like it's the first of its genre, basically. I mean, yeah, it's an open world, but you have these dinosaurs that are robots. That was crazy. I mean, such an insane concept, but a great game overall.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see kind of what you said before about the release and what system they're going with. I
Hmm.
would, my initial guess is that they kind of do something that consoles in the past have done when the Xbox One just came out, but they were still releasing 360 versions. We might see that depending on when the game comes out. I mean, it could still be 3 years out. Who knows how long it's going to be
Yeah,
at that point. It might just be a PS5 release, but if it's anywhere near the PS5 release, they might have it as PS5 and a PS4.
hmm, yeah. I believe didn't the first one come out pretty much at launch of PlayStation 4 because I know that it's been out for quite a while. And you guys can correct us if we're wrong in the comment section below. But I feel like that game came out closer to their release date, so I'd imagine that they've probably been working on a new game for a couple years now. So I don't want them to feel rushed to get it on to PlayStation 5. Definitely take your time with it if you're listening out there. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah, the game launched, the Horizon Zero Dawn launched February 28th, 2017. So
okay,
that was a few years after PS4 had already been out for a while.
yeah, okay. So you said 2017.
Correct, yeah.
So then I guess maybe technically they've probably been working on a new game. Well, since that they're just now hiring people, they could have been in the works or they're just now working on it. So we don't know. We'll have to see when they actually come up with a release for it in the next PlayStation conference. Okay, so
Mhm.
moving on. The topics for our day today. Sorry. Our top six upcoming releases for November is Red Dead Redemption 2, Death Stranding, Need for Speed Heat, Pokemon Sword and Shield, Star Wars Jedi, Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts. Do you have any other games that you want to add to that, Stuart?
I have a honorable mention that I'll talk about at the end just because I found it hilarious.
Okay.
But Yeah, I was looking through a bunch of the different lists on games coming out. A lot of it was for the Stadia,
That's
Google's
yeah, that's what I've heard. Stadia can
thing that
yeah.
they're coming out with. I'm not entirely sure
Hmm.
why they're trying to capitalize on a market like that where we already have so many.
Yeah.
We'll see how they do. I'm not expecting much, but
Uh,
these are really the main six that I saw.
yeah. So we'll start off with Red Dead Redemption 2, which actually came to PC release on November 5th. So I've heard some good things about it, and I've heard some bad things about it. Obviously, the good things are that the graphics are a lot better, it feels smoother, but that just comes whenever you release a game onto PC. Obviously, the graphics and everything are going to feel more rich and detailed. Um, but what I've heard the bad things about it is a mouse and keyboard kind of layout for it doesn't feel as natural to the game as a controller does. I know that on some games you can actually plug in the Xbox controller and just play it that way, which might be until they actually figure out the layout and figure out how to make it feel more comfortable on the PC might be an option for people to take. I don't. Did you ever play the Red Dead Redemption?
I played the very first one
You didn't play the
way
second.
back in the day, and this was years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Had a lot of fun with it. I never ended up buying Red Dead Redemption 2,
Mm-hmm.
uh, but it definitely does seem like a game that would just flow better with a controller than it would on mouse and keyboard.
Yeah, I mean, normally when they release games specifically for console, it's going to feel a lot better that way. Um, the game was a lot of fun. I enjoyed the game personally a ton. I've always
Mhm.
loved the Red Dead series. Red Dead Redemption 2 just kind of takes you in more of an open world with more beautiful scenery than the first one. I feel like the story behind, I don't know, that's kind of hard to say because both the stories were amazing. I know
Right.
I've heard that some people get a little upset coming from Red Dead 1 to Red Dead 2. They said that they didn't like Red Dead Redemption 2 as much. But I don't know. I didn't have any problems with it. I enjoyed it a lot. Um, have you seen any trailers for Red Dead 2 or any gameplay for Red Dead
Oh
2?
yeah, I mean I've seen it. I've done all that stuff. Watched the YouTube videos, the Twitch streams.
Mm-hmm.
The game is absolutely stunning, and I'm actually really excited to see it on some people's PCs because people have the Titans and they have
Yeah,
thousands of dollars in a PC versus a $400 console. I mean,
exactly.
you just really can't compete when it comes to that type of power.
No, do you plan on buying it for PC at all?
Probably not, to be honest. I'm gonna probably just stick to the games I have right now. I mean, for a college student and all that, kind of hard to just splurge, if you will.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So I would say to the people listening out there, if you want to get the game and you've never played it on console, that and then you have a nice PC, that it'd probably be a decent idea to get it on PC and then just hook up the controller to it to play it that way. You'll get a much more experience with the graphics and everything. Also, from what I've read from Rockstar's website, they're bringing 3 new bounty hunter missions with it, 2 new gang hideouts, new weapons such as the M1899 pistol, the Evans repeater, a high roller revolver, sorry, Lamat revolver, as well as 2 new treasure maps, new horses, and 5 new trinkets. Um, so if you haven't played the game yet, like I said, probably hop in from Xbox to PC or did it? I believe it was an Xbox exclusive, correct? It was not. It was not released on PlayStation. I'm pretty sure it
Uh,
was not released on PlayStation.
I actually don't know. I feel like Red Dead 2 was on PlayStation.
It might have been. I'm not 100% sure. I am an Xbox only kind of guy. I don't really switch over to PlayStation. I had a PlayStation for a while, but then I got rid of it. Um, and that stems back from. Do you remember when PlayStation got hacked a long time ago?
Oh, that was 2000 10, 11. I
Mm-hmm.
remember that. I was down for an entire month over Christmas.
Exactly. That's when I switched from PlayStation to Xbox, and I never looked back.
I
So
went back. Yeah.
in the PlayStation world, I don't know too much about what's going on, but that's because PlayStation pissed me off a long time
They're like, you have
ago.
confirmation Red Dead 2 was on PlayStation
Okay,
4.
so it was on PlayStation. So if you have played it on PlayStation or on Xbox, then probably keep it there. If you, unless you got a ton of money just to blow and you want to see it for the updated graphics on PC,
I
then
am taking donations if that is the case.
exactly. I'll just read you real quick what Rockstar says in their brief description on their website. It says Red Dead Redemption 2 for PC takes full advantage of power of the PC to bring every corner of this massive, rich, and detailed world to life, from the windswept snowy peaks of the Grizzly Mountains to the dusty roads of Lemoyne, from the mud-splattered storefronts of Valentine to the cobbled streets of St. Denis. New graphical and technical enhancements for deeper immersion include increased draw distance for better navigation, higher quality global illumination and ambient occlusion for improved day and night lighting, higher quality snow trails, improved reflections, and deeper, higher resolution shadows at all distances. And that's basically all they say about it. So, like I said, just probably a graphic boost with a couple more things. Moving on to Death Stranding. What are your thoughts on this game, Stuart?
So this game has been talked about a lot. Um, I don't even remember when they first started talking about it. I want to say 2015 is when when Hideo Kojima was like, "Hey, this is the thing I'm doing."
Mm-hmm.
I think for a while, so it initially came out, and they're like, "Hey, this is a thing," and then nothing, and then the last, I don't know, last few months, it really got big again, and a lot of people
Yeah.
were talking about it as they saw, the finish line. I mean, Hideo Kojima is probably one of the most well-known producers, writer, game design person in gaming right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he's about, most known for the Metal Gear series.
Yeah.
He really brought I mean, that was back in the 90s when that first started. He's been in the gaming industry for a long time. I don't know. This game looks very, very interesting. I don't know if I'm going to get it. I'm probably going to wait for it to release, do all the reviews, check out some gameplay, and then maybe decide on getting it. But it
Yeah.
definitely looks like it's going to be a very unique title.
Yeah. I, I have a lot of opinions about it, but for the people that don't know exactly what it is, you basically play as Sam Porter Bridges, post-apocalyptic postman played by Norman Reedus. Your quest is reconnect isolated remains of civilization and save his sister, basically. But in the game, from what I've seen and the gameplay that I've seen, you literally look like a postman just taking stuff from point A to point B. Now, with games like this, I get really worried, especially when the hype gets big. You get big actors in there and you get big sponsors in there. I remember seeing in one of the trailers, Norman Reedus goes and grabs a Monster Energy drink, pops that bad boy open and chugs it, and I'm like, I've seen games do this. I've seen it happen, and I'm like, I don't know. I feel like whenever it happens, they get overhyped. The game's not as good as it should be, and then it just crashes. Um, I don't know.
I don't necessarily know if I see this game honestly not doing well. Um,
Well, with the big hype that it has, I feel like a lot of people will buy it. I don't know. I don't know if they'll like it. I think that they're buying it for something that they want it to be that it's not going to be, and that's what I'm worried about. So,
I get the vibes that I get from this game are very much Dark Soul vibes.
mm-hmm.
I'm a huge Dark Soul fan. I've played them all. I mean, I haven't played Demon Souls, but I've played all the Dark Soul games. Absolutely love them, but they're definitely not for everybody, right? It's a very
Yeah.
small group of people that are Dark Souls people.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of have to hate yourself a little bit, if not a lot of it, just because of the style of what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily know if this game's going to be as difficult as that. Most likely not.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the kind of go-to things people are, at least when I've read it, people are like, oh, it's gonna be a cool shooter game. It's gonna be a cool stealth game.
Yeah. I, f-
Which I
I
mean, I
f-
get the stealth from the Metal Gear, but and then, this is a pretty big but. Hideo Kojima has come out and said that the game is not going to be a stealth game or a shooter. Now, it does look like in the trailers and all the gameplay that we've seen that there are those aspects, but
mhm.
it's not going to be a strictly stealth game. It's not going to be a strictly shooter game. He's calling it this weird mix, an action strand game.
I
Um,
I feel like it's gonna be you're basically playing a movie in a sense, because from all that I've seen, the cutscenes look like they are probably the biggest part of the game.
Mm.
I know that there is a decent amount of things that you can do in the beginning. You basically start off with nothing, like majority of games. But as you progress in the game, you unlock certain things like vehicles. You unlock certain weapons and different ways to stealth kill and so forth like that. You're able to build roads as well. Um, but I don't know. I feel like the game has potential. Uh, will live up to the big hype that it has currently. I'm unsure. So.
Right. One thing that I do really like about this game that I've read a good bit about is how, while it is a single player game, you never ever see another player in the game
Yeah, that's what
see
I've
the
heard.
effects of other people.
Yeah.
There is this, how to put this, like when it comes to the bridges, when it comes to the roads, there's also safe houses. The more people travel across the same paths,
hmm
you're going to notice those effects, and everyone's game is going to be affected. It's not just your game, it's not just their game. Everyone's game gets affected, which is kind of cool. I mean, kind of taking it back to the Dark Souls, you had these things that you could put down on the ground. There were messages. You could either give advice. Oftentimes, it turns out that there was just a troll. But like, if you gave someone a rating, for instance, like say I put a message down and say, "Hey, there's a hidden wall here,"
yeah.
and people will rate it and give me a thumbs up. Like I get benefits for that. I get health back in some of the games. Other games, I get other things. You get items
Yeah.
essentially.
Well, I've
Um,
heard about that with the Vex and everything. I also heard, and how you talked about the trolls, that they're worried that some people might take these ladders or whatever they build to nowhere, and then people are climbing up there, and then they get up there and they're like, "There's not shit up here," and they're just like, "This is completely pointless." So,
I don't know.
that.
I think it's cool. There's a lot of mechanics in the game that I really like, and
Hmm,
you really have to think. For instance, when it comes to fights that you do against normal people, there's consequences, right? So if
yeah.
I'm walking through, I'm doing my thing, I'm carrying my letters or whatever you end up doing,
Hmm.
and you get into a fight with people and you kill humans, for instance, there's this place called what, from what I found, is called the Upside Down Dimension. It kind of gives me the
Is
whole
this the Stranger Things world now?
yeah, exactly. It kinda gives me those vibes, like, I don't really follow it, but if you get killed, I guess you get taken to this upside down dimension, and then the aftershocks, kind of like ghosts, if you will, of the people that you kill are there, right?
Wow.
So if you don't kill anybody, you in theory, there's not gonna be anyone there to affect you.
Hmm.
If you do kill people, like, if you kill everybody you see, there's gonna be a lot of enemies in this place that you go to. So I don't really know
Yeah.
how it's gonna play out. A lot of people don't know how it's gonna play out.
Yeah, that's. I
But
don't
it's
feel like
interesting.
they've released very much information on the game itself, so a lot of people are still confused about what it's going to be. But from what I've heard, I still feel like it's going to be a little overhyped. I'm not sure though. But anyway, that game releases. Death Stranding releases November 8th, which is relatively soon. I believe that's Friday. I want to say. So if you guys are
Something like that.
interested in that, check it out. Moving on, we have the Pokemon Sword and Shield that releases on November 15th. I checked the game out a little bit, saw the gameplay. I'm mainly used to the old Pokemons. Now I'm talking the red, green, and the gold and the silver and all of that coming from Game Boy. Now those were the games that I loved to play. They were a lot of fun. Just kind of experiencing the Pokemon world when Pokemon was just getting big. Now I'm talking back in probably late 90s, somewhere in that area. Pokemon was a lot of fun for me. It was a big part of my childhood. I had all the training cards and everything, used to trade them and whatever. Uh, but the new one looks interesting. It looks like kind of a not necessarily an open world aspect, but more of you can pretty much go wherever you want, catch Pokemon, train Pokemon, do basically everything that you could do in the older games with much better graphics coming from an old Game Boy. I know that you said that you didn't really ever play Pokemon very much, did you?
Yeah, so I didn't grow up playing Pokemon. I was around, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
being born in the 90s, but I just was one of those things that I just never really got into. The games that I played, I mean, my first console that I ever owned was the PS2.
Yeah.
I no, I had played the original Xbox with friends who had it and
Hmm.
all of that, the Atari and the N64 and all that stuff growing up. But my first console I owned was a PS2. Like I had that before a Game Boy.
Yeah.
Pokemon just wasn't something that I got into. By the time I, came around to it, I was a lot older, and it wasn't that I didn't want to get into it. I think part of it was just it was low key intimidating jumping into a series that had been going on for as long as Pokemon had or has been.
Yeah.
Um, I played Pokemon Go extensively. Not to say that's the end all be all of Pokemon experience.
Pokemon Go is a
Um,
lot of fun. I still load the game up every once in a while, and I go outside and I'm like, I'm gonna catch these Pokemon, man. I'm gonna become the best. And then, after about walking a mile, I'm like, I'm going back inside, dude. This is ridiculous, bro. Like it took the world by storm. Pokemon Go literally took the world by storm for
oh, it
a little
changed
bit.
everything. I
You
remember
know?
when it first came out. The first summer it was out, I was actually in New York City doing some
Hmm.
work up there, and New York City is a busy place, don't get me wrong, but I went to all the parks, a lot of the parks around there, like Grand Central and all that, or
Yeah.
whatever it's called. Anyway, everyone was on their phone playing Pokemon Go. It was wild, dude. Dude, you would have a gym battle or a raid going on, and there's like 300 people. I'm like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
I get it. It's fun. It's cool, but come on.
Well, let me tell you this. One time, Ashley and I were in Disney World, right? And we went
Oh,
over by where all like the Star Wars stuff is and whatnot. So they always have the stormtroopers that are walking around and messing around with people and whatever. Well,
right.
Ashley is sitting there playing Pokemon Go at like one of these Pokestops where she can get balls and all this crazy shit. And so she's sitting there playing, and this stormtrooper comes up behind her and he just points at her and he goes, no. And then he takes her phone and starts playing Pokemon Go. I'm like, bro, what? What? But I
That's
mean,
awesome.
honest, that game is a lot of fun. I don't ever see myself personally playing Pokemon Sword and Shield because that's just not the games that I'm really into anymore. Pokemon Go, I still mess with every once in a while,
Right.
but I'm more of the action paced kind of guy. But this next game coming up, I'm definitely going to have to buy, and that is Star Wars Jedi Fallen
Mm,
Order. It comes out on November 15th for PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox, so it hits all the big dogs. Basically, in this game, you play as Cal. You're a Padawan learner. Sorry, I don't want to mess up any Star Wars stuff because I don't want to piss
you're gonna get
anybody. I
crucified.
will get destroyed on this end. But anyway, the Order 66 massacres all the Jedi's, and he's able to escape and hide. And then afterwards, he comes out of hiding and he's trying to learn the Force basically himself. He doesn't have anybody to teach him. So you go through this game and you learn how to unlock things and you learn how to use the Force better and you learn how to use your jet or your sword better, your lightsaber. Jeez, dude, please don't crucify me.
Your sword. Oof.
Your sword, your sword, the little laser sword. But yeah, basically you just it reminds me of a lot of a game called what was it? The Humankind Ancestors, the Humankind Odyssey. I want to say is what it was. Have you ever played that game?
That's not ringing any bells.
So that game released, I believe, closer to the beginning of this year, and not the actual game, the premise of the game, but the mechanics of the game. Where in that game you start off from the very beginning of, if you believe in human evolution, you start off as an ape, and then through this game you're learning how to use rocks to break open coconuts. You
Huh.
have to learn how to use you learn how to use tree branches and turn them into spears. And then sooner or later, once you evolve and all these things, you learn how to use all of this stuff better, where you can take on different enemies, and then conquer them and move out throughout the story of the game, which is basically a lot from what I've heard that Fallen Order is going to do, where you have to learn how to use all your abilities, and then you become better over time. In this game, there is going to be a skill tree, which is going to be awesome. I remember playing The Force Unleashed, and that had all the skill trees and
Dude,
everything where you could
that
unlock
game.
that game. I'm praying that game is like this game. They take the mechanics of that and bring it over here, and then just make this game even better. Because if they do that, I'm gonna
Let
spend all my
me
money.
here's my thing, right? I'll spend all your money, you might, it's EA.
Yeah,
That's what
seriously.
I'm caught up on. EA is producing it, right? They
Yeah.
produce Battlefield 2 or Battlefront 2, excuse me.
Hmm.
Um, and that game, well, was gorgeous looking. The graphics were insane. The gameplay looked solid, but it presented so many problems for the gaming community. I mean, the whole loot box gambling controversy,
Yeah,
while was a thing that was slightly talked about, exploded during that game.
it did.
I
It
mean,
was
I'm
bad.
paying I'm paying $60 for a game.
Hmm.
I wanna have the content, right? Like, I get pre-order bonuses, I get X, Y, and Z, but I shouldn't be, I shouldn't spend $60 on a game
Yeah.
and then have to spend an exorbitant amount of money afterwards to get other things in the game.
Well, bro, we can
Bec
go on an
Well, yeah,
insane
right,
spiel
but
about
that's why I'm scared.
microtransactions.
That's why I'm kind of like, "Ooh," the previous Star Wars game they came out with,
Hmm.
they kinda broke the gaming industry.
Yeah.
Um, but the game looks insane. The game looks really cool. The story is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, you're kind of like the underdog, you rogue, you gotta survive. I mean, that's essentially the goal.
Hmm.
It just looks awesome,
Yeah.
but I do have my worries.
That's true. I mean, I know that EA has a lot of problems with their microtransactions and everything that they do. I do miss the days before microtransactions where you bought a game and you got the game. You got the
Mhm.
game, and everything from start to finish is what you bought, and that's what you own, and that's what you have. That's what they have presented you with. Microtransactions are a thing that just make me so angry. But as a gaming community, there's not much that we can do other than stop buying microtransactions, but that's impossible. Everybody continues to buy microtransactions, and there's really nothing that we can do about that. Um, maybe one day they'll actually release a game where I don't have to buy a season pass. Whereas now in every
Good luck.
I know, in every battle royale now they have season passes, which is insane, just to unlock different skins and items like that.
See,
But
I'm fine with the cosmetic side of things.
I'm
It's when
fine when a game is
you
free.
I
And
mean, yeah, I get it, but if it's $6 game and you can
mhm,
spend money outside of that to get cosmetic stuff like weapon skins or charms or outfits, whatever it is, if it's cosmetic and doesn't impact the game
mhm,
itself, go for it. I am fine with that. I personally like having my weapons looking cool, my characters looking cool. I'll spend money on it if I like it.
yeah,
What I don't like is when there's the option to buy, like for instance, Call of Duty's been notorious for this, having weapons that you have to purchase
that you have to
or
buy.
gamble.
Yeah,
But those weapons are really freaking good, and they change the dynamic of the game because it gives you an edge. Now, again, we should probably skip past this and talk about this another time just because there's so much here.
yeah, there is.
But ultimately, game looks amazing if they do it correctly.
Exactly. If they do it correctly, it'll be perfect. Again, that Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order comes out to PC, PS4, and Xbox on November 15th. The next game we have coming up is named Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts. Comes to PC, PS4, Xbox on November 22nd. I'll go ahead and read exactly what this game is about. It says experience pure sniping gameplay across the harsh terrain of Siberia in a brand new contract based system, encouraging strategic thinking within engaging redeployable missions. Fulfill contracts that offer clear objectives with a fixed monetary reward and options to complete bonus challenges for payouts. With hundreds of ways to take down a wide range of targets, contracts offer precise strategic sniping gameplay at its absolute best. Now, I know that you said that you played this game. I have personally not played these games, so I'll let you kind of take this one away.
So I have a special place in my heart for these games. This one, I'm not counting the contracts.
Hmm.
I have my own thoughts on that. The previous games though, like the first one, the second one, I actually just bought the third one today, so I'm gonna be playing through that. 'Cause it's like $7. I've really enjoyed the games. Now, from a technical, from a mechanical, from a just the games they are, in a subjective angle, they're not that great, but they're a ton of fun. I mean, you get to be a sniper. who does sniper things, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
You get to go up on a mountain and snipe an entire city of bad guys. Like it's just it tickles me in just the right way. I think the issue in it is there's no longevity in it. Like once you beat the campaign, that's kind of it. Like they have multiplayer, but they're trash. Like if you want to play a good multiplayer, play like Call of Duty, play a Siege, play
Yeah.
any other AAA game that has multiplayer.
Hmm.
The games are fun as well, and or they would be at least in a co-op setting. Although I don't know if any of them have had co-op. The third one, I think they had talked about it, but they never really implemented a co-op
Yeah.
feature, and that's the issue. These games would be 10 times better with a co-op functionality. To go on a mission with your friend, like just be 2 people and just do a co-op campaign. Those are some of my most favorite times is playing campaigns with my friends. The
Yeah.
issue with contracts that I've seen and from looked up is there's 5 maps. Like that's all you get. It's 5 maps and
Hmm.
25 contracts.
Yeah.
And I don't know how, many steps there are to the contracts. I can't imagine it's a lot. It's probably like, hey, infiltrate this place and kill this guy.
Hmm.
That's not a lot to do.
Yeah, I feel like if they added multiplayer to this game, that it would probably turn out to be like a sniper elite game,
Mm.
where you could have two people in that one. I personally never played the sniper elites game, but how these two look, I feel like they're basically the same game.
Right, and they kind of are. I've actually played the Sniper Elite games as well. It's funny because I really like the Sniper Ghost Warrior games because they're modern. You have
Hmm.
modern weapons, modern technology. But Sniper Elite is better in the sense that you do have that co-op option.
Yeah.
However, it's older, right? I think some of them are like World War II,
Yeah.
Vietnam. Like it's older tech, older guns. So it doesn't scratch the itch of having modern stuff.
Hmm.
I believe the Sniper Ghostware contracts is only single player. However, it is $30, right? So you don't have as many maps, you don't have as many contracts or whatever,
Hmm.
but it's only $30. So, you're not paying the full 60 for a full game. It seems like you're kind of getting half a game.
Yeah.
The graphics in the trailer weren't that good. Like I was not impressed with just how it looked, honestly.
Yeah. I watched the trailer and I was like, this is probably not a game that I'll buy. um, just because I'm not really into the sniper world of just doing that. Now, I will say, whenever I go to a game place like Dave and Buster's or whatever, whenever they have the sniper games, you bet your ass you will see me on those. But when it comes to just sitting at home with a controller playing it, I don't know. I don't feel it. You know what I mean? This doesn't
Yeah,
look
I got you.
doesn't seem good to me.
Mhm.
Moving on to our other game here, we have Need for Speed Heat, which comes out on PC, PS4, and Xbox on November 8th. Need for Speed Heat, I kind of lost the love for Need for Speed a long time ago. I used to play a game called Midnight Club where I could customize my
Ooh.
cars into my heart's content. Once Need for Speed kind of broke away from things like that, I don't know exactly which one it was, but it was definitely later in their gaming career that they started making games. It drove me away from them. I love cars. Actually, that's what I do for my full time job. I work on cars. I do enjoy them, but this game, I don't know, doesn't do it for me. I would say.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you work on cars every day. Cars are my biggest passion. You know that.
Hmm.
I have a soft spot in my heart for the Need for Speed games, but the last however many games in the last few years just they haven't been what they were. Like Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2, amazing game. Midnight Club, amazing game. Underground Racing, amazing. Like the Need for Speed of old, they were
Yeah.
so good. Like no one would be like, "Oh, that was a bad game." Like they were up there with Forza, right? They were amazing games.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. I don't know why the games have just seemed to go downhill so much.
And they really have. I'm not exactly sure either. I don't know if maybe they had a change in management or how they decided they wanted to run things at Need for Speed. But with that being said, there's not many other car racing games like Midnight Club that
Right.
are being produced now. I mean, what they have Forza, but that's a completely different beast. That's racing actual race cars.
Right. I mean, they have, they have the Forza Motorsports, which is
Hmm.
racing in actual races for like competitive teams. Then you have Forza Horizon series. They're up to four,
Yeah.
which is more of the open world. Still have, organized races, but it's like a festival. It's really cool. I love the Forza Horizon.
Yeah.
But Need for Speed brought an arcade side to it. They had the crazy drifting, which wasn't realistic by any means,
Hmm.
but addictive. It was so fun, and
Yeah.
we just haven't had that.
I agree.
The trailer for Need for Speed Heat does look really good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things where the previous ones, the trailers have looked great too, and the games were just trash.
Yeah.
Um, but the graphics are stunning,
Yeah.
and I don't know, man.
Well,
It's one of those things like Star Wars. I'm scared for it, and
exactly. I will say this, that I feel like now, in present day, when these games are being released and I see the trailers and they want me to pre-order them, I'm always actually a little scared. I'm like, anymore, anytime I see a game, I'm like, is this game actually going to be as good as the trailer looks? Or am I
yeah.
about to get flim flammed? Because I feel like every time I go to buy these games, like No Man's Sky, for instance,
Mm.
I mean, rest that game's soul. I've heard that the game's great now. I heard that people
Yeah.
really enjoy it. But when it first released, absolutely terrible. Nobody liked it. Everybody thought this was terrible. The hype for this game was insane, and it just let me down. But that even goes with, Call of Duty's been at fault for that. They release games, and I'm like, oh man, I can't wait to play the next Call of Duty. And I hop in there, and I'm flying around the map, and I'm like, what the hell am I doing? So I don't know. I feel like I like to have a game come out first, then see other people get screwed over and say, "Oh, okay, well, I wouldn't like that game," and then
Right.
and then I buy the game if I want it or not.
And
But
that's the issue. That's definitely a big issue the last few years. Siege launched horrible.
yeah,
I mean, it took years to get Siege to where it's at now, 4 years to be exact. Um, but it was a horrible launch. And the issue with the culture in gaming, at least today, what it seems like, is it's acceptable to release a game that's not ready to be released.
yes,
And oh, we'll patch it later. We'll fix it. Just
hmm,
do it. Don't launch it yet. Don't release the game until it's ready.
yeah,
I get that's not necessarily developers, that's the publisher.
hmm,
But
got to make that money, baby.
yeah, but at what cost?
Exactly. I agree, and that's another topic for a whole nother discussion. Um, but I agree 100%. But to sum up those 6 games real quick, Red Dead Redemption 2 is coming out to PC on November 5th. Death Stranding comes out to PS4 November 8th, and possibly PC in 2020. Need for Speed Heat comes out to PC, PS4, and Xbox on November 8th. Pokemon Sword and Shield comes on Switch November 15th. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order comes to PC, PS4, and Xbox on November 15th. Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts comes out to PC, PS4, and Xbox on November 22nd. And I know there's some things that you wanted to add, Stuart, so let's hear them, baby.
So I have an honorable mention, just one. Um, I'm gonna put it this way first. I never ever would have expected to have a game like this.
Mm-hmm.
I think I don't know, the human brain fascinates me and how some people can think of something like this.
Mm-hmm.
The game's title is Bee Simulator, as in BEE, as in the little buzz boy that flies around.
Yeah.
It comes out on PC, PS4, and Xbox One and Switch November 14th. And on the website, I've ripped this directly from their website. It says, explore a world brimming with life in which you collect pollen, what bees do, defy dangerous wasps, and save your hive. Play with others in 3 game modes, including co op and PvP on split screen. It's
Hmm.
$40, but you're a bee, right?
Yeah.
PvP in a bee game? Like,
I
what
know.
are they going to do? Have inner hive wars? Like,
I will.
what?
I will say this: that even though the game seems laughable, the bee epidemic in the world is actually pretty bad. I mean, I hear a lot of the bee population dwindling, and that does
Oh,
suck. So it is kind of nice to bring light to it, Would I pay $40 for the light to it?
Absolutely
Probably
not.
not, because
Are
I'm
you
not
kidding me?
exactly sure what this game could, entail to make me want to play it. Um,
Right.
I personally have not seen anything about it yet,
I
but
mean, the
just
graphics were pretty,
yeah,
but I don't know. Like maybe you have kids who are very young
mhm,
and there's not many that they play.
yeah.
Um,
I
I
mean,
don't know,
the
man.
the simulation games like Farmer Simulator and all of that. I'm like, what the? I'm not gonna come home from my 8 to 9 hour job and then work another job.
Yeah.
Is what it feels like. You know what I mean? Like, I'm
Right.
just not going to do that.
Well,
But
it kind of reminds me of the Goat Simulator. Remember when that was huge on like
oh
YouTube
man,
and
I still
Twitch?
play Goat Simulator every once. Whenever I have some downtime and I'm like, dude, I have no idea what to do. I've got like 10 minutes. I'm bored. Goat Simulator.
But like that game's pure meme, Like that is the
Yeah.
epitome of
Oh,
memes right
oh,
there.
exactly.
This
Yeah.
seems more serious, like low key serious. I'm
Hmm.
a bee. I'm buzzing around. Hey, that flower over there, that's looking real good. Like
Exactly.
it just, I don't know, man. I just thought it was funny.
I mean, just a quick search on Google. When I pulled up Bee Simulator just to see what you were talking about, they have, and it hasn't been announced for what the release date will be. They have Prison Simulator. Prison
Well,
Simulator.
I mean, it's real easy to try that in real life.
What? I know. What? What is wrong with people, brother? That stuff doesn't make any sense to me.
I
Um,
don't know, man. Whatever.
I don't know. Who knows? But with all that being said, I am excited for November's release. November's normally a great month for games to be
Hmm.
released. And then once that happens, we kind of have the dead period of when games come out again. So hopefully these games that are coming up are actually going to be worth another mention. Hopefully in the later podcast we have good things to say about these games coming out because I would love nothing more than to see these games actually take off and be something better.
Is there going to be any sort of like co-op in the Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order?
Not that I know of, not that's been announced, I believe.
Okay.
Um, so it'll probably be just a single player game. Um, I don't know if they'll. You think they'll ever make another Battlefront? I know that they made one and two. Don't know if they'll make another one. I feel like the second one tanked so hard that it'd be hard for them to make another one.
Well, that's the thing, right? They shot themselves in the foot. So it's not the game that's bad. It's the whole loot box issue. That was
Mm-hmm.
what made the game bad.
Yeah.
Um, I think the other thing is why those games in the first place were dangerous to make is the fact of how good the first Battlefront 1 and Battlefront 2s were,
Yeah.
back in the PS2. Those games were phenomenal. I loved the second one.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think they're gonna make any more. I mean, I'm not gonna hold my breath. EA has very much surprised me before, so
Mm-hmm.
we'll see, but I don't think so.
One last thing that has a little a good mention here is the fact that Apex Duos comes out on Tuesday,
Today.
November 5th, which is today. We're recording this for tomorrow, actually,
Hmm.
but it does come out today. So, what are your thoughts on duos? Do you think third partying will be a little less now that they've only got two teammates?
So
Or
I've actually played it already.
okay,
Really fun. I really enjoy two person game modes.
yeah,
You're up against 30 groups is total, so you're up against
hmm
29 other groups. Um, but I think it's really good. I mean, I don't really notice a huge difference when it came to the third party. Now, third party was a thing, obviously, but that's
oh,
just the name of the game when it comes
heavy,
to Ape.
yeah,
Um, I think it was really good. I didn't see a huge difference in meta or gameplay aspects from the single player to the three people.
yeah.
I think they need to just keep it in the game, to be honest. I don't know how that's going to work with servers, but I really think having it as a limited time event, while fun, isn't great. I think they need to have it all the time.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like when games come out. Like that's when or not Black Ops, I'm sorry, Modern Warfare came out, this very last one. I felt like Gunfight was going to be just kind of like it's here and then it's going to be gone. And that's what
Mhm.
worried me. So when they do make things like duos, because sometimes you can't get your full squad on or you can't get all your buddies on and you got two people to play with and you're like, Dude, every other game mode is
Yeah.
3 to 4 to 5 people, and it's like I don't want to play with another person. I just want to play with duos. You
And
know.
that's the thing. Like, you really find when you go up against a team that's a full stack, right? So let's just take Apex because that's, the duo mode. When you go up against a team in normal Apex and they have 3 people, usually they're pretty good, right? They can communicate with each other, they can
Hmm.
talk, they can make accurate call outs. When I play with, one friend of mine, like, or when I play with Mike, for instance, when I'm just playing with him, it's just, we have a third random. Usually, there's no communication being had because he's
Yeah.
not on our, and he's just really dumb. I very rarely find a good solo queue player,
Yeah, you normally won't.
and that's my issue, right? So I am matched up with 3 people, and the one guy is completely dragging us down, right? He's engaging in fights he shouldn't.
Hmm.
He's not useful. He's not doing anything. This duo mode really helps because I can go and play with Mike, and it's just him and I. I don't have to
Exactly.
worry about date or running a daycare because this kid has
Hmm.
no idea what he's doing. I don't know. I really like the duo mode. I think it's really good. I don't see anything wrong with it so far.
Yeah.
It's good.
I mean, with gunfight and with other duo modes, I feel like they have more of a competitive standpoint for, if you want to play competitive Apex or you want to play competitive COD. I feel like duo is a good place to get that in there. Just having a
Mhm.
team of two going out there and trying to compete to be the best. I feel like in duo modes, gunfights and gun skills are a lot more important than three to
Right.
four other people because you actually have to
Absolutely.
rely on the other person to watch your back, to hit his shots, to do these things in order to get further in the game to become the winner,
And
winner,
even
chicken dinner,
even
baby.
taking that a step further, back with PUBG, like in any of the duo modes, right?
Hmm.
It's so much easier to clutch up when
Yeah,
you're up against just 2 people, right? You're playing
exactly.
PUBG and you're the last one alive, or it's the standard PUBG for 4 people. Your 3 friends are down, they're knocked, and now you have a full squad of 4 people pushing
Yeah,
you. You're not winning. You
no,
can't.
you can't.
Like, there's really no way that you can win that fight.
I mean, it can happen, but it's very, very rare.
Very rarely, and these guys that you're going up against have to be brain dead to
Yeah,
lose.
exactly.
With a 2 mode, it's a lot easier. You knock one guy, now it's a 1v1, right? Now you've evened it up.
Yeah,
So,
that's
uh,
very true. Even if your squad mate dies and it's just you at the end, more than likely you're going to be up against the game or a team of two, and
right.
that's a lot easier to
Yeah, it is
deal
a
with.
lot easier.
So, but I think that's everything. I think that wraps it all up. Made it to the 50-minute mark almost. So a lot to talk about
Wow.
these new games coming up. But thank you all for listening to the Gitm podcast. Be sure to follow us on YouTube and Instagram at Gaming is the Mission. Just want to say thank everybody for checking us out and listening to what we had to say. I don't know if it was helpful, but it felt good to get it out there and get it off our
D
chest.
Definitely look forward to more podcasts coming because we're gonna keep
Yes.
rolling them out.
Yep. So our plans are every Sunday and Wednesday we will be rolling out new Get 'em podcasts. I will actually be on vacation towards the end of this month, so you'll be stuck with Seward for 2 of them. But
Yeah, it's new podcast now.
it's the Stew podcast. It'll be the just Stew podcast. No more Get 'em podcast.
Yeah,
Uh,
no, no.
but overall, thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Peace.